All right, welcome to Unbiased on the Fence. I know a lot of you all have seen the original video I did about the map changes. I had a piece of art that I created years ago, 2011 I believe it was, for a contest where I took the word love in a bunch of languages and just used the map as a guide. Well, when I'd heard the map had changed, I opened up that Illustrator file, and the map I used as a reference had changed, although my letters that I had placed on top of the map didn't change. So they were left in place, showing what the map used to look like for the most part. It's not an exact copy, but it's definitely amazing. So if you missed the first one, stay tuned because this is going to be a good one. This is actually hard evidence to the fact that something actually happened.
The pinnacle of human perspective.
Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. I'm Shane. I appreciate you joining me. What I've got here is the Illustrator file that I used for a map that I created. Like I said, it was back in, I think originally in 2011. It took me probably around a year to do the whole thing, but I did it for a contest I was entering. That was going to be an international contest. So I thought, what better way to have a worldwide appeal than to use like I think it was 3 or 4 dozen of the world's most popular languages, most used languages, because there's thousands of languages, but most of them fall within the first few dozen, thank goodness. So what I have here is take a closer look here. Let me explain what you're looking at here. This little map here is going to stay full screen the whole time, and it will allow us to see what we're zoomed in on, because it's kind of hard to follow if once you get kind of zoomed in on stuff. So at any point you kind of want to know where we're at. It's like if I could go way in on Arkansas here, you can see over here this red box is showing us what we're looking at up top here. So a few things to kind of explain what's going on. When I created it, I didn't leave any islands out. So when we see islands with no words on it, that means it's brand new. When we see that means it wasn't there previous, and the new map has these islands, but the old map did not have these islands. And another thing to keep in mind is that, like with the changes, scoot over here, some people were saying how like South America used to be more right underneath. There's something to consider when you're looking at the maps like this, and that is that a lot of times they're highly skewed. Now I think this one in particular, does it have the equator? It might be what this dotted line is here. Or no, that's this right here, equator. So what you got to look at is Greenland up here. On some maps is really stretched out. I mean, it looks like it's just as tall as the US. So keeping that in mind, that some of these were highly skewed. If you look at like these islands in this area here, the way they're all kind of elongated left to right, when it's stretched out, they're more, rounded, not so skewed. So I wanted to point out a few things of interest first off, because if people are wondering about certain parts, I want to point out there's not a lot where there's a word like this out in the water and we're just totally missing a piece of land. Most of it is additions, add-ons. So like all of this here. Another thing I want to point out, if it doesn't have the outline on it, like this little piece, that's really water in there. There were some mistakes that happened when it got changed with the vector file, because I took the original image and I turned it into a vector file. So here you can see up here, this is above Canada, we've got a landmass missing here. And then I'm going to say right over here, I'll come back to these islands. I want to point out the things that are brand new, or that's missing, I'm sorry. This, you can see we're down below South America. There used to be a piece of land here that's not there anymore. And let's say there's another one. Oh, right here. Trying to get my bearings here. I believe that's India. Yeah, India is missing an island right here, right off the south coast. And I believe that was all the big stuff that is just completely gone. Now there is some areas where it appears that the letters kind of go out into the water where they didn't before, like this. So it appears that this land has receded. So there is some of that going on too. But like any place you see, like this island wasn't there because it doesn't have a word on it. And this land in here wasn't like this because I would have, brought that B down. I wouldn't have had the R going out into the water. So just to kind of give you an idea of how I created it. Now it was taking a long time, and I did get a little bit lazy in places, so we can't really take it as it wasn't exact everywhere. I did follow it pretty close in most places, but it it just depended on what kind of day I was having as far as how far in I was zoomed in too, because some of the areas I just didn't zoom in as far as others. But this was another area that I thought was amazing. You can see, first off, you can see how words are overlapping on top of each other. They would have never released a map with words on top of each other like that. And Denmark wasn't here before. I don't know, I'm not quite sure if anybody remembers where Denmark used to be, but it wasn't here because there's no words there. So this was all water. All these little islands you see here. And even, I never got this lazy. So, I would have definitely did something there. Probably put another word, love sideways or something. But I wouldn't have just ignored that. You can even see here where I had this come out and sort of follow it. I would even say this area here is new because I would have had this K kind of go over some at least. This over here I would say is all new. These islands are all new. Same way here, I would have brought this over further, so that's new. Here you can see how I was sort of trying to follow it. So this piece is new. This whole island's new. And once again, you can look over here and see where we're at. So let me jump down to South America. Before we get there, let me stop at the Bahamas, because there's a ton of islands here that weren't there. Here we have a bunch here. There's one there. Cayman Islands. I know I'd heard of that before, so I don't know where they moved from. But these are all new, the ones without words. Look at all of these. I have to check my last video. And it seems like even more than there used to be. But it's probably a good idea. The last one, it wasn't synced up perfectly. So it's probably a good thing I'm doing this again anyway. But South America, I wanted to point out the fact that although the whole thing doesn't appear like it moved over, it does have all of this extra stuff right here that was not there before. It's really quite interesting. Now another area that has a ton of stuff is over here. This would be the Pacific Ocean. Look at all of these islands. This is so amazing. This is all new, and I tell you what, I thank God all these islands weren't here. My God, it would have taken me a whole another year. Because if we flip to the other side, like if we continue these on to the other side of the map, which would be over here, look, there's a, look at all of these islands. And they're named. The names appeared. That is so amazing to me. There's some in here. When I was on Unirock, the Dark Wolf had mentioned New Zealand. Some people mentioning New Zealand moving. It looks like it's. I think he thought it had moved further south. Some people were saying that, but there's definitely some more islands there, and that can be that whole skewed thing too. You know, if this was stretched out, because this is definitely squashed, and it was like that when I did it. So yeah, we got a ton of islands over here. And then you see there's a whole ton of islands here. All of these islands with no words are brand new and they're labeled. It's just absolutely amazing. And even if we get in here close, let's see, is this? Okay, so this is like Iraq, I guess, and then this would be like Kuwait down in here, maybe. I don't know, guys. I'm not real big. I know I did this whole map, but I'm not by any means a big map geography guy, especially the further away from home I get. But here we have the islands here, and you know, Qatar. I think this piece and this piece are new. I would have definitely, you can see I brought the O up to there because that's where it used to end. And you know what, guys, if you have Illustrator, just drop me an email. I'll be happy to send you this file just so you can, if you want to look through it. I think it's amazing. And you can get in here, and I did combine all of the let's see here. I did combine all of the letters onto a layer. They were all separated, all the different languages. Each language was on its own layer originally, but I did combine it to have that like that, so you have the ability, if you have Illustrator, and this is CS5 or CS5.5, I want to say. Let me make sure. Yeah, it looks like C55. Okay, so this would be new. You can see there's a bunch of new islands here. The land sticking out here is new. Another little island there. Even on, I noticed this, hadn't noticed before, is that in the Gulf here, I would have brought this down because I started on the top left. I started over here, and so as I got further along and it started taking longer and longer, I might have, you know, you can see where I started putting big words in there just to try to, you know, sort of take up a lot of space. But all of this is new. All of this, that edge there, I'll zoom in case you guys want to see a closer look at that. It was really fascinating. You know, and I don't know, I can sort of see why my letters didn't change. I don't know if they came across my file and they're like, we'll just change the map. We're not moving all those letters. No, I don't think it was done by hand or anything. But here's another instance where, okay, that in there, see how it doesn't have the outline on it? This green in here, so this was water here. And judging by the way I have my words laid out, this used to come around like this. So this piece of land here, you can see where we're at on here, is new. And look at this, is way different. I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have left this out in the water like that. So this land used to not be sticking up like that. It used to just kind of come around like that. And I would even say this receded a little bit because I didn't have anything hanging off into the water at all. Same way there. Now you can like turn the layers off if you have the Illustrator file and look and see. Like that didn't come up in there. I wouldn't have left it like that. I would have definitely clicked that little point and brought it up, clicked this little point and brought it up. So I would even say this came around, you know, and that wouldn't have been hanging off like that. So it is, I can see why people say it's a whole different place. Now check this out. This, which looks like land in here, is water. Yeah, this is actually an island right here. This is water all the way between here. Once again, I'm not sure. It's up on the northern coast of Russia. But let's see, I think I pretty much covered all the main areas. And if I missed something, you guys, I plan on doing some live shows real soon, so maybe I can open it again and you know, I can look in on areas if you guys don't have Illustrator. Because the file, just to do a picture of it, you can see how when I zoom in on this, you see how little that is. For me to export out enough pictures to cover the whole map, there would be hundreds of pictures, or it would just be out so far that you can't really get a lot of detail. You know what I'm saying? So because this was originally, I wanted it to be big enough to if I won the contest, I wanted it to my point was to have it big enough where if somebody wanted to put this huge, you know, buy it and put it on the wall at an international airport or something, they would totally be able to put it in there and just really cover the wall, and then people could go up to it, and you know, this stuff would be real apparent. You know, it would be gigantic. So I want to say to export it out, it's like 12,000 pixels wide or something, you know, and it could be printed way bigger than that. I just wanted to make sure the resolution was good enough that they would be able to print it at a really big size and it still look really nice. I was actually going to go a step further and try to get people from each of the areas on the map and sort of have their faces in the letters, and but you can see why I kind of abandoned that idea, because this was just all so time consuming as it was. And I know I got a lot of people in the UK that might want to look a little closer in this area. So yeah, you guys in the UK, you can see this is Ireland. This is sticking out further here. There's this island here. Maybe you guys can let me know what that is, because that didn't get a label, even though some of the other ones did. And then the whole Denmark thing. This is just absolutely amazing. And you know, for anybody, I know it's hard for some people to believe that, you know, this guy had to have faked it if you're not a believer in the Mandela Effect, but you know, where would I start? I wouldn't even know where to start to try to fake something like this. You know, just the work it would take, and you know, there's plenty of things to look at without going and manufacturing any, you know, residue. So so yeah, this is I think somebody, oh, you know what, I think I remember somebody saying this. Is this the, oh, let's see, that's up. Okay, no, I was thinking I was over here. Oh, was it messing up? Oh, I think it was messing up. the canal. I can't even think of the name of it now. But someone was saying how this used to be open. And look at that. It used to be open. This is absolutely amazing. But this video is getting pretty long, so I will leave it at that. And you can get my email from my about page. It is shanecrob@gmail.com. Or like I said, you can find it on the about page. And I guess that will do it. I do appreciate you all watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.